Hi everybody, my name is Trey Wellington and I'm a banjo player that plays primarily in a three-finger style, and today I'm here at the Bristol Birthplace of Country Music Museum to talk a little bit about the banjo. The banjo is a very iconic instrument in bluegrass, old time, and country music, so a lot of people think, oh, well, it's an American instrument, right? Well, actually that's not true. It was actually originally from Africa, and the origins of the banjo started with enslaved African people that were brought to America from Western Africa. It goes by a variety of names, from banjar to bandors to banya. The origins of the banjo come from a gourd type instrument, and a gourd is the back of the banjo, and usually they would have a hide covering on the top. References of the banjo can be found in a painting called Old Plantation, as well as in Thomas Jefferson's writings. So how did it become so popular in early country music and other styles of music? We start to see the banjo in popular culture around 1830 or 1840 with certain white musicians that took these instruments from the slaves on the plantation and would adapt it into their own kind of thing and learn from the slaves. Through the interactions between black and white musicians, you see the evolution of the banjo from this gourd type instrument to the modern 5-string banjo, whether it be open back or resonator. After the new style of banjo was created, you could see them getting in mass production with vendors like Gibson, as well as Sears and Roebuck in the early 1900s. A lot of people assume that the banjo came to the Appalachian region with minstrel shows, but there are very early accounts, as early as the early 1800s, that account for black musicians in the area already playing the banjo before they even came here. The way that black and white cultures interacted would be through steamboats and other workplaces often, as well as black musicians were often hired to play white dance parties and dinners. A common misconception is that there was no black string band music, and the thing is, it was separated back then because of segregation between string band music and then race records. And race records were often done by black musicians and string band music were done by white musicians. So it's often mislooked that there were actually black string bands back then. And even though we're talking about the past today, there are a ton of banjo players today and musicians that are black, that are continuing to play the banjo, as well as share the history of the banjo. One that comes to mind instantly is the Songs of Our Native Daughters, and it is 4 black female banjo players that share their outlook on American history through the eyes of a black woman. Another 2 musicians that have done a great job at sharing the history of the banjo are Rhiannon Giddens and Dom Flemons, and she was actually on the Songs of Our Native Daughters, as well as both of them were in the Carolina Chocolate Drops, which was a very influential black string band. Somebody else who's taken a little bit of a different approach by incorporating elements of early jazz and blues music is Jerome Paxton, and his nickname is Blind Boy Paxton, and he is telling stories from pre-World War II with different African-American banjo players' perspectives. Jake Blount is another great musician who is sharing the history of old-time music with the world, and he's doing it through playing banjo and fiddle. And I'm Trey Wellington, as I said at the beginning of this video, and I'm a progressive bluegrass musician, as well as I play a lot of jazz music. So I'm definitely more on the progressive side of things, but it shows the vast variety that there is among black banjo players in this country. So there are 2 primary picking styles in the Appalachian region, and the 2 are the 3-finger style and the clawhammer style. So the 3-finger style is what I play primarily, and it sounds something like. And then there's the clawhammer style, which primarily doesn't use picks, though some people do, and we're kind of doing like a kind of that style. This tune I'm going to play now is an original of mine off my EP Uncaged Thoughts, and it's called Gibbous Moon. you.